Hello everybody, and today we're going to do a really straightforward implementation using Windows Server 2012 R2 using the FlashMax 2 cards. And what we've actually got here on this server is a standard server with 16 gigs of memory, and we've actually placed in that server 3 FlashMax cards: VGCA, VGCB and VGCE. They're all 550 gig. They're all set at bog standard factory defaults, and they're both all 3 cards have absolutely no data on, and they're all running at a pretty good temperature. So let's go straight over to what we're actually going to do today. And the first thing we're going to do is go to Server Manager. And one of the key things inside Server Manager is if you go to Local Server, and inside Local Server, you'll find this window. And basically what we're going to do here is on this local server, we're going to go to File, Services and Storage, and basically what we're going to do is go and create a storage pool based on a set of disks. So what we're going to start off doing, if you actually look here, you can see the 3 FlashMax cards being presented, just bog standard GPT 7, 5 and 6. Here they are all listed here, and what I'm going to go is straight to storage pools, and I'm literally going to create a brand new storage pool. So here we go, the usual wizard comes up, new storage pool wizard. I'm going to give it a name, FlashMax 2 SP, and I'm literally just going to click that here, and it's listing out all of the physical drives. There's some Samsung ones here, some FlashMax ones here as well. So I'm just going to click these 3 physical ones, and what I'm actually going to do is keep one of them as a hot spare at the top here. So we're going to use these 2 originally to do some mirroring, and then I'm just going to keep one in the back end if I really want to keep a hot spare going, if we want to actually basically keep one active but with no data on it. So let's hit next and then hit create. As you can see, exceptionally quick. It's adding the hot spare and it's done. Next thing we're going to do is create a virtual disk from that storage pool. So I'm going to close that, and again it's saying now create a virtual disk from those FlashMax cards, and it's picked up my FM2 SP. And you can see here what I'm actually going to do is give this a name. I'm going to call this FM2 Virtual. And literally, again, I'm going to create next. And then what I'm going to do is a mirror. Or I could do parity, but I'm going to do a mirror this time. And basically do provisioning type. I could do thin provisioning off here and just literally grow it as I needed. Or I could do fixed. So let's just do fixed. I'm going to specify the maximum size, and that's going to be 550 gig because we're mirroring, remember, and one's a hot spare. And now that's going to create me a storage space called from the storage pool FM2 SP, and here is our virtually mirrored disk across those 2 cards. So I'm going to create that, and up it goes, and it starts to create it exceptionally quickly. And then literally I can create a volume when this wizard closes. So I'm just going to create a volume on that. And again, I'm going to pick it off. There it is there. My 515 gig. Let's do the maximum size. Give it a drive letter. G would be good. And let's just format this up. New volume. So now this is being formatted based on that. And again, really fast, really simple. Hit close, and we've now got a virtual disk here as well that's going to basically be presented. So if I actually minimize this down, I can refresh this as this goes in a second, and what we're going to see presented now to the server is our brand new drive G. And there it is there. So while we're doing this, let's see what happens if we break it. So let's copy some files. Let's have a look at what we could copy. Let's try something like, just copy Windows, shall we? Why not? There we go. Copy. I'm going to copy this to my new drive G, and at the same time, what I'm going to have a go at doing is breaking one of the cards that's being mirrored, and we'll see if the other one actually does that. So that's now started to copy from a local hard disk. That's why it's quite slow. And then let's go back into our FlashMax manager, and we'll pick off one of these disks that actually is. You'll see some performance going on here as the card's being written to. And let's actually take this offline. So let's reset it live. I'm going to do this now. This is as if the card was breaking, and this is now starting to reset the card back to factory defaults. But what you can see is nothing has changed from the copying. It's still going on. You can see that. So it's actually, the device is actually gone offline, but to the server, nothing has changed. It's still doing exactly the same performance from that disk copying the files up. If we go back to Server Manager now, and what we're going to do, you'll see it here, it's going to start to complain, and it's saying mixed, and there it is, 550 gig, one's a hot spare, and you can see here, in a second, when that resets, that's going to complain. So at the moment it's saying, I think there's nothing wrong, but what you actually see is, in a second, is, there we go, reset back to factory defaults, and this will now come up, and it's already showing you that as it's actually working. So there we go. So there it is, complaining that the physical drive is basically broken, and now the hot spare is taken over. And then literally what we could do here is repair the virtual disk, and this would mirror it onto the new card. So we're going to do that. We're going to start that mirroring process, and that will now start to mirror onto that spare card. And here's the broken disk. It says physical disk 1. It's unknown. It doesn't actually, it's broken out of the pool. To the end user, or the application still running, nothing is changing. And what that's actually doing now is copying data to one card, and you'll start to see this basically reprovision at the back end, the mirroring starting to happen across to the new card. The beauty about this, nothing is changing to the application. The server is actually doing very little except copying data on. And as you can see here, this is a fantastic solution for offering truly mirrored local FlashMax 2 cards, but at the same time having the ability to have a hot spare standby in there just in case you didn't want any maintenance or downtime. And then at an appropriate time, when you could get change control and maintenance, you could then shut the server down, remove the physical card that's broken, place a new one in, and then basically reprovision that as the hot spare. So thanks for watching today. As you can see, it's been a pretty straightforward demonstration. FlashMax 2, 3 cards, Windows 2012, R2, being shown using bog standard Windows 2012 storage pools.